As you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be the top 10 best Bloodlines of Shindo Life. So you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the video, guys. Alright guys, so coming in 10th place is going to be the, of course, Bankai Kuma. Now Bankai Kuma, as you guys can see, has taken a mighty fall since previous. Now what Bankai has going for is obviously the C-Spec. It's a mode drain iframe ability on a very, the cooldown is not that long, so it's just an iframe mode drain ability. It's really not that great overall. The main thing Bankai has going for is the second move, which is a place lock stun. Now this move was actually nerfed, so there's more hand sides attached to the stun, so it's a little bit harder to perform in combos, and that's the main reason why it's going to rank so low. There's just much better stuns in the game nowadays, but it is a bread and butter stun. It's a very solid bloodline to put in 10th place on this tier list. And of course, with Bankai, you do actually have this auto dodge attached to it as well, which, it's the auto dodge meta right now. It's a very solid auto dodge. It's very easy to use as well. Alright guys, so coming in 9th place is going to be the Headless Bloodline. Now this is going to be one of the newest entries on the list, and Headless, guys, is a very good bloodline. Now the actual mode itself is really not that great. It has very basic combo extending attacks, and quite frankly, it's just quite terrible. Like, the abilities are just very lackluster, and you will not find yourself using this mode. This mode is definitely not the glory of it. I will say though that the counter of the mode is probably the best part of it. It's a 15-second counter. Obviously guys, it's going to be good because it does actually place select stun, but that's kind of the only good thing about the mode, and it's pretty terrible overall. Now this actual bloodline is honestly pretty amazing. So the first move is a block breaker, not on a global cooldown with Rei Karada. So you'll see a lot of people use this move with actual Rei Karada in their kit, just because they have a lot of dash guard breaking moves. Now there's only iframes on the very start of this move. Most of the move doesn't have iframes, so you do have to watch out for that, but it is still a very good move just for chasing people down, quite frankly. Second move is a very terrible stun. I would recommend never using this. If you want to use a stun like this, just use blood. And then probably the most annoying move of Headless to fight is the third one. It's an auto tracking stun ability where when the horse runs around, it will consistently put down stun attacks that people can either step on, or the horse will sometimes just set it right under their feet and will actually stun them. Very high pressure attack and very good overall. Now coming in 8th place is going to be Riser Kuma. Now Riser Kuma here, guys, this is a very solid bloodline. I mean, like, let's be real here. Riser Kuma, we only ever use this bloodline for one or two things. The stun is very subpar as a stun. It works just fine for combos, but we use this for the iframe attack. This iframe attack is one of the single-handedly best moves in the entire game currently. Just because the auto dodge mid combo update was changed, this is not on the auto dodge global cooldown anymore. It was actually removed. So this is an ability that can actually set up your combos or completely force someone to use an auto dodge, while also simultaneously being a really good ability to either avoid attacks yourself, or quite frankly just to make people confused and stuff like that. It's a really great attack, and it's the main reason why Riser Kuma is just so good. Now coming to 7th place is going to be Indra Kuma. Now Indra Kuma right here, guys, is a very solid bloodline in this game. Now obviously you do have the raised block for only 30 mode drain, which is absolutely amazing thing, but Indra Kuma obviously does have some things holding it back as well. The actual abilities of Indra are really not that amazing. They're kind of just subpar abilities of other people, like other bloodlines in general. Like, the second move is a pretty decent stun, but it has a little bit short range. Kind of hard to use because of the short range, but it is quite good because it has the lowest amount of hand signs for being that type of stun now, because Bankai was nerfed. And the first move is kind of like an instantaneous combo extending ability. It's really not that terrible. It's okay overall. Then obviously you do actually have this throwable here. This throwable, very solid throwable, guys. It's just a, it's just a counter. Now the other boosts of Indra are really not worth mentioning. The kind of things that are just Indra are good for are, of course, the stun, the first ability, and the mode, the raised mode block. And now coming to 6th place is going to be the solid Ryan Rengoku. Now the mode of Ryan Ren is honestly pretty terrible, all things considered. I know there's a second mode I'm not even going to bother going into because it's terrible. Don't comment about it. But the actual bloodline itself is what carries Ryan Ren. So first of all, it has a pretty decent stun attack. It does a decent amount of damage. It is a place lock stun, not a true stun. People can use attacks during it, but that's whatever. Now the actual attacks, the second move is an iframe attack to sort of move. When you click someone, it does a bit of damage to them and does ragdoll them, but you have to be a decent distance away. You can't be right next to them and do the move, but it still is a really good move overall. You just don't see very many people using it in general unless they're pretty proficient at the game. Now the move of Ryan Ren that people consider to be the best move, and the move that makes the bloodline so considered really good, the first move is an iframe attack ability that pulls people in. It does a stun. It has no end lag. It's just a really broken ability. It's on the stun global cooldown. This move is basically the best of pretty much everything in this game. It has iframes. It has no end lag. It's a stun attack, and it pulls people in. It's just a really great attack overall, and it definitely carries the bloodline. Now coming to 5th place, it could be Minakaze. Minakaze has been buffed, nerfed, and right now it still is one of the best bloodlines in the game. Not only is the second move still an extremely fast attack, it has been nerfed since, so it's really not that great anymore, but it still is a really good attack. But this third move is still just as good as it always has been. This move is a really high damage, completely free combo sending ability that can sometimes even bypass block and more. It's just a really solid ability. It's the main reason why Minakaze is so good, and the first mode of Minakaze is also pretty decent. Now coming to fourth place is going to be the Snake Man Bloodline. Now Snake Man is one of my personal favorite bloodlines in the game, and I'm glad to say that it is actually insanely good in this game as well. Now Snake Man, it has a lot going for it, but the main things it has going for it is the throwable, which is a move stackable high damage ability. The first move is Snake Man, which is just a very high damage ability in general. It's pretty much very borderline being an instantaneous stun, pretty good for combos. The other moves of Snake Man are really not that great. You just have a basic combo sending a move, a basic block breaker. The actual mode, like I said, the throwable is really good, and then you actually do have the weapon spec, which is a really high damage move stackable counter that just does a lot of damage in general. Now coming in third place is going to be Powder. Now obviously guys, Powder is an extremely broken bloodline at the moment. I'm definitely not gonna there's not really much to say about it. The second move of Powder is an instantaneous stun attack where you could drag people to wherever you want. Obviously guys, that's an insanely good ability. And the third move of Powder, which is probably the best one of it, has an absurdly large hitbox and is completely move stackable with stun attached to the actual move. So it's a really broken move overall. There's not really much else to say about Powder. Now coming to second place in the top 10 best bloodlines is going to be Ray Karada, probably to the absolute surprise of nobody. Now the move of Ray Karada that is just so broken is the first one. The boulder iframe move that guard breaks people. It's an extremely broken move. It has been since release, and it still is absolutely amazing. The other moves of Ray Karada, they're very fine. It's an AoE stun attack, basically just a Vengeance first reskin, and the mode is nothing, you know, crazy either. But the first move of Ray Karada is just so broken, it has to be in second place on this list. Now also coming in second place is going to be Kamaki Akuma. Now I'm going to be quite frank guys, I completely forgot this was even in the game, but Kamaki Akuma is also going to be second place. It's for a pretty simple reason, honestly. First of all, the third ability, it's quite literally just probably one of the best dash moves in the entire game. It is just pretty much every single dash move, but the reason why it's better is because you can actually go into the air instead of it being on the ground. Now another reason why Kamaki Akuma is second, the actual counter of Kamaki Akuma, depending on if the attack is multi-hit or not, it can actually do upwards of like 200,000 damage to the attacker, and that's just the main reason why Kamaki Akuma is going to be in second. Now honorable mention one is actually going to be Alfurama Shizen. Now Alfurama Shizen right here guys, very solid bloodline overall. You mostly see people use Alfurama Shizen for the first ability of it though, and the first ability of it kind of is like, I mean not the first ability, the third ability. The third ability of it is quite frankly the exact same as Ashura Shizen, but Ashura Shizen is actually a better version, hence why Alfurama Shizen is going to be so low on this list. Now honorable mention 2 is going to be Ragnar. Shiver Ragnar, it does have longer stuns, but Ragnar here is a very solid bloodline. Has a guard break attached to the first move. Second move is a pretty decently high damage stun attack. And then obviously guys, let's be real here, everyone uses this for the counter. The counter is still extremely good. Now since it is an auto dodge meta now, the counter has been nerfed because of that, as in like people don't really use it anymore, but Ragnar still does have some pretty good traits to it. By the way guys, what is your favorite bloodline in Shindo Life? In the comments below, we'll be checking them out. Now coming in first place, as probably a surprise to absolutely nobody, is going to be Ashura Shizen. Alright, let's be real here guys. Ashura Shizen, raised block, pretty much the best thing of Injure Akuma has. The C-spec does more damage than Injure Akuma, so it basically has a better C-spec. The actual abilities of the mode are also better because the throwable, the counter, is basically just, it's like the second move, which is already a really amazing stun attack, and also it stacks based on the amount of people. You guys can see that there. But the main reason why Ashura Shizen is so good, obviously guys, this mode is absolutely amazing, but the main reason why it's so good, first of all, let's get started here. First move, very solid combo extending move that allows you to move stack. Second move, it's a stun that guard breaks and has a very long stun attached to it with a chi drain ability attached to it as well. Now the third move, Ashura, is definitely the weakest move of the entire bloodline, but it's not even that bad itself, which means that this bloodline is just a very solid overall bloodline. Now unfortunately, it's a really rare bloodline guys, so you're not going to be getting it that much in this game, and that's kind of the only downfall that this bloodline actually has. Anyways guys, that's for this video. If you enjoyed this video, guys, bye bye.